I'd like to welcome you to the 2010 election road trip. My name is Nels Jensen. I'm the Director of Content and Programming for the Press Enterprise. We are doing 25 candidate forums this week across western Riverside County. Today is our fourth day on this road trip, and we are talking to candidates from City Council elections today. We are here at the Mount San Jacinto College campus in Menifee. This forum today is on the Perris City Council race. First, we would like to thank our sponsors, the Beaumont Cherry Valley Recreation and Park District, which hosted our forums Monday in Beaumont, the Press Enterprise, where we were Tuesday, and also Mount San Jacinto College. They not only are hosting today and tomorrow's forums here on the Menifee campus, but they also hosted forums yesterday at the San Jacinto campus. These forums are being streamed live on pe.com and on ustream.tv. These forums also are being recorded and are available on demand on the road trip page on the politics area of the pe.com website. We have simple rules for this forum. Each candidate's going to have a 2-minute opening statement. Questions, the answers to those will be limited to 1 minute each. We will also have a 1-minute closing statement at the end of our questions. And now I would like to turn the podium over to our moderator, Bob Melsch, who is Associate Instructor of Political Science here at the Menifee campus of Mount San Jacinto College. Bob?
Thank you. Let me begin with a little bit of background. The city of Perris, and I'm sure you gentlemen are well aware of your city's history, I hope, but there won't be any test afterwards. Perris is one of Riverside's oldest cities. The city was named for Fred T. Perris, who was chief engineer of the California Southern Railroad. The railroad connected through the city in the 1880s to build a rail connection between the present-day cities of Barstow and San Diego. It was incorporated in 1911 and will celebrate its centennial next year. The city has seen some dramatic growth in recent years, and like all cities, is now faced with challenges with its budget. Now, currently present, we have two incumbents, Mr. Mark Yarborough on the right and Mr. Al Landers on the left. As others come in, we will introduce them. But first, each of you, beginning with Mr. Yarborough, gets 2 minutes for your opening statement.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raul Mark Yarborough, and I currently serve as a council member with the City of Perris. I was elected back in 1996, and I've truly been honored to serve the community. I believe that everyone should serve in some capacity, whether it's military, nonprofit, civic position of some sort. And I've been given the privilege to serve my community by the voters. And a little bit about myself. I am a graduate of Perris High School. I'm married to my wife, Shelley, for 27 years. I have 4 kids and 4 grandchildren. I'd just like to say that, a lot of what we do is something that many of you can do. It doesn't take rocket science, doesn't take huge degrees. I think the most important quality that elected official can demonstrate is that they actually truly care about what they're doing. And I'm very fortunate to have served with some wonderful city council people. In the time that I've been on the council, I came onto the city council, and the first thing a staff person came up to me and said, "Congratulations, welcome aboard. We're going to be bankrupt in 30 days." And so that was a eye opener right there. And at this point, we're probably one of the most fiscally solvent cities in California. We have reserves in place. We have we've maintained police and fire, our services. So these are the kind of things, especially in this time, that I think it's very, very important. We need a strong, stable council to direct our professional staff so we can provide the things that are important to the community. And not just the city of Perris itself, but the community as a whole, that we can continue to provide services for the quality of life things. So with that, thank you.
Mr. Landers?
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Landers, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'm delighted to be here today, and I thank all of you for the opportunity. I think the more of these we have, the better that it is for the community, just knowing what we're about and a little bit about us. I'm privileged to have been first elected to City Council in 1995. I came on when we didn't, like Mark said, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. And today, through being frugal with the taxpayers' dollars, we have over $20 million in our reserve. We've got $80 million in total funds with our city. And that is very good. That's being frugal with the taxpayers' dollars at a time, economic times like these, when many cities around us can't pay their bills or their employees or anything like that, and we set very well. And that is because we are frugal with your money and we take care of the people doing what we can. And that's not by accident that we have this money. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what's going on in Perris. I'm so happy to be part of that now. Along with Mark, we've served together for a lot of years. And it hasn't been easy, it's been a struggle. But today we are looking at, we just approved the $27 million for the 4th Street, the 215 interchange. That whole thing in there is going to be completely changed. Right now there's about 6 or 7 stop signs within a block. All that's going to be redone. We just broke ground on the $25 million Big League Dreams sports park complex in our city. Super Walmart is now in plan design and plan check in our planning department. The downtown projects, the $1 million senior center project renovation that we're doing right now, and also with the teen center. We really need to recognize that we need more things for our teens to do, and we're doing something about that. The Metro Rail, we'll have the live Metro Rail next year. The beautification program that we have, the home buyers assistance program for a lot of the young people today cannot afford the down payment on a home. Already? I was only halfway through. Thank you.
Save it for some of the questions. Al. All right, our first official question goes to both of you, and it's an obvious one. Both of you being incumbents, beginning with Mark, why are you running for re-election?
Well, as I said in my opening statement, I think it's very important that all of us give back in some way, shape, or form. I've served on the council, since 1996, and I have to believe that being effective, working open communication with my colleagues and with the community, that we've demonstrated that we are being effective. So, until the voters tell me that, Mark, we're done, I'm sure they'll explain it to me at the polls. But until that time, I'm going to go ahead and continue to serve the community. And when I say serve, I mean that we are public servants. We are here to serve the community, and I'm honored to be able to do that.
Mr. Landers?
I serve the community because I want a better place for my kids, my grandkids. I want a better place for the people that have struggled in Perris. We haven't always had everything that we need or want in Perris, but that's why I struggle. I do a lot of things. I've been past president of the Chamber of Commerce. I led the March of Dimes Relay for Life, 2 terms as chairman. United Way chairman, 2 years. March of Dimes chairman for 2 years. I'm trying to give back, so maybe tomorrow will be better for everyone else.
All right, now we get into the tough ones. The first one, has the city done enough to try and combat vandalism and graffiti? What has been done, and what, in your view, are those measures working? What can be done, and what more can be done? Let's start with Mr. Landers.
We have several different programs, Mr. Moderator, in place right now. We have a program that it's championed by one of our colleagues. It's called Cops and Clergy. We have the Citizens on Patrol. We have many, many programs right now that we're doing to combat. Unlike a lot of cities, we haven't had to lay off very many or budget enough for too many our policemen to be laid off. We're very strong in our police department, and plus all the what else is it? There's the not Citizen Patrol. Yeah, we have the Citizen Patrol. and the neighborhood watches we're very, very involved in right now. Mark and I go to these as well to help neighbors care about neighbors.
Okay, you want to continue, Mark?
Thank you. Yeah, those are very important issues that face all communities, and Councilman Landers had indicated, we've applied a lot of resources to police, and even in these fiscal challenged times, we've taken minimum cuts. The police has been very effective with gang task force, with as indicated with the neighborhood watch programs, Citizens Patrol. We also have a graffiti tracker program that's state-of-the-art. With that, it's a tool that the police use where they'll go out and they'll take a picture of the graffiti and it transmits it via satellite to a database, and then they can actually track this, because every graffiti image is basically a calling card, and you collect 3 or 4 of them, and here you catch Coolio doing a little graffiti sign, and guess what? He's got 7 or 8 across the city. Well, guess what? We have evidence, and we've actually been able to prosecute and recover some of the cost with that. The most important thing, in my opinion, that we need to continue to outreach is to expand our Citizens Patrol and our Neighborhood Watch, because you become the eyes and the ears, and criminals just don't like that when they're exposed.
All right, now we get to money problems. Given the recession and the city's economic troubles, and the fact that city council members in cities larger than Perris receive substantially lower monthly stipends, excluding Bell, of course, how do you explain why Perris city council members continue to receive a monthly stipend of $890 a month? Let's go with Mr. Landers on this one.
Thank you. Are you asking why we take the $890?
Yes.
Well, for one thing, in that $890 is the car allowance, which we have to, we attend meeting after meeting after meeting. They could be here, they could be in San Diego, they could be wherever, and that's all out of our pocket and the expenses. I think $890 is I think we're probably close to the bottom of what a council member gets. If you're in this to make money or to even make ends meet as far as your expenses, as far as a council, you're not going to do it. It's you lose money by serving, but you've got to realize what's in your heart and the reason that you're in it, and it's not for the money. Can't be.
Mr. Yarborough.
Thank you. It's an interesting question, because back several years ago, we had done a study looking at what other cities compensate their elected officials, and it appeared that this city council had not received any type of increase in, I think it was over 10 years. So we went with an adjustment that was consistent, but as Councilman Landers stated, this is something you do because you care. This is a token compensation, because really you could make this as much as you want. This could actually be a full-time job. Most of us sit on at least a half a dozen community groups, and we represent joint powers authorities that we're involved in. So we spend a lot of time driving. I have 2 businesses that I also work. That's where I just came from, and that's where I'm going back to. So it becomes a juggling act, but you make it happen. And so I think that the dollar amount, if it's lower in other cities, then it's lower. But I'm sure there's other, they have staffs, they have other things that are well to offset it. But again, we don't do it for the money. It's a slight compensation for what we do. Thank you.
All right. The next question. Let's start with Mr. Yarborough on this one. Let's sort of bounce back and forth. It's a little awkward with 2, but this one deals with revitalization. Has Perris' efforts to revitalize their downtown been successful in your view?
Absolutely. Just all you need to do is southbound 215, get off at D Street, and you enter our gateway to the downtown area. And not only is it a real downtown area, you heard the opening statement from the moderator, next year is our centennial, and our city will be 100 years old. And it's very exciting. We've restored our train depot. We have on the National Register, we have a Southern Hotel. There's countless buildings and homes that reflect the community of Perris. We had a visit from a neighboring city. They came out for a meeting, and they couldn't believe the not only the condition of our facilities, but how many existed. They said most of everything in our city has been torn down, was never rebuilt, and you've managed to preserve it. And we haven't even, I don't think, scratched the surface of what we have. So we've done a good job. We've invested money wisely, I believe, and maintained the history because it's very important. We need to know, with your history, you need to know where you came from so you can really know where you're going. And I think we've done a very good job in Perris. Thank you.
Mr. Landers.
Thank you. You know, years ago, Perris, downtown Perris, was not really a place you wanted to go, especially after dark. That has all changed now, and I wish that all of you would go downtown and see all the millions of dollars that we put into D Street with new sidewalks, new facades, all the businesses down there that we're doing right now. The Thursday night we have the street market. There's many things right now that we're doing to pull people downtown for these business people. There's trees all along D Street. We've spent, I don't know how many millions of dollars for blocks and blocks and blocks of beautification for that. Also, where the old Stater Brothers is, are off of D and 4th and the 215 freeway. We just approved millions of dollars for the old Stater Brothers Shopping Center. That's one of the first ones that was in our city. It's going to look like it came out of Newport Beach. I saw the renderings. I know what it's going to look like. So we're doing all we can. We're spending a lot of money to make downtown safe and beautiful for people to go down to.
All right, thank you. Due to declining tax revenues and state support for cities, cities are now called upon to make cuts to balance their budgets. What cuts, Mr. Yarborough, would you make?
Well, we already this fiscal year, and understand we're on a 2-year budget cycle. We cut probably about $1.5 million off of our budget from last year, and those areas, part of them were we took some cuts in public safety, but we also had a lot of positions that weren't filled. People retired, so we were able to take advantage of that. So really, we focused on the areas that are absolutely necessary. Now understand that Perris I'd like to consider us very lean and mean. There's a couple of cities within proximity of us that operate with staffs of about 300 people that have no reserves and are struggling to stay operational. City of Perris operates on 80 staff, basically the same. So our people are productive. We've taken people and cross-trained them to do other jobs instead of laying them off. And we really get the bang for the buck from every employee. I work as a private business owner, so productivity is critical to me. And I insist on that from our public employees, and you can see that with Perris.
Mr. Landers.
I would put our staff up against any in the state of California. They're productive. They're they're trained well for their job. They care about the job. They care about the city. We are closed now to save money. We close City Hall on Fridays. The employees now work from 8 to 6, 4 days a week. Each one of them took like a 2 or 3 or 4 hours hit on their pay, just so some of their colleagues, some of their friends that work with them did not get laid off. It was either close City Hall on Friday or have to lay off some staff. But right now, and it was all precautionary. It wasn't that we had to, because we did not, because we still do have the reserves. But it's just something that we don't know how long this economic crunch is going to be. So you got to prepare for these things. And so that's what we did for that.
Then the other side, Mr. Yarborough, is what cuts would you not make? In other words, what would you save?
Well, there's to me the things that are important. There's you have needs and you have wants, and you see other cities right now fencing off parks because they can't maintain them. They're eliminating senior centers, youth centers, recreation, and those are the things I think are the quality of life things that are very, very important to our community that we're maintaining. Matter of fact, some of them we're expanding. We have 4 parades a year, every year. Our senior center is getting a complete facelift, along with a teen center that's going to be added to it. We're working on an aquatic center. We have a Big League Dreams that's under construction right now. that's is very going to be important for the community. So those are the areas that I think that are very, very important, and we're going to continue to maintain those, even if we have to tap into reserves, because sooner or later, this recession will break and we'll move into that direction. So those are important, and we will continue those.
What would be priorities for you, Mr. Landers?
Priorities for me always has been public safety, and it will continue to be public safety. Not only that, but we got to make sure that the people of Perris are not overtaxed and overburdened. Roads is very important to me. We're spending lots of money on roads, potholes, and that sort of thing. Volunteerism is very, very important to me. It always has been. I think that's what, I put on my Chamber of Commerce hat a lot because I care about the business community. And we just started a resource center for our veterans. I love our veterans, and I think we need to support them. I think, the veterans, I think these are our real American idols. I think many of them, well, I know many of them, of our veterans gave up their tomorrow so we could have ours. And I am supportive of them. I'm supportive, and they are very, in our city, with their resource center, they are very proactive as far as getting out and participating. Anything you need, roads cleaned, Community Pride Week, any of that, they're always there. Thank you.
Okay. The next question, then, Mr. Yarborough, we'll start with you on this one. Perris is home to the Riverside County Fire Department and CAL FIRE's regional headquarters. Some and other cities have suggested that they would be better off forming a regional fire authority. Would it make sense for Perris to join a joint powers authority to reduce firefighting expenses?
Well, whenever you consolidate, and if it can be done effectively, it's always a good thing. I don't have any experience in that area. As you indicated, we are the headquarters for CAL FIRE in our area, and it's an interesting choice because Perris is actually, if you look at it on a map, we're literally in the nucleus of not only the Inland Empire but Southern California. So anywhere within proximity within Perris, you're going to have good response. However, if they wanted to do a joint powers authority, they were going to consolidate operation. It makes sense. We saw that happen with businesses such as Whirlpool. They consolidated 5 distribution centers into one, and and that just makes good business sense. And when you see those kind of decisions coming from the federal government and the state, it's a little scary because it does make sense and it saves you money. But good things can happen. But I would be in support of that if it was a benefit to the taxpayer.
Mr. Landers?
I'm sure that I'd probably be in support of it. However, I really can't make a judgment call on that until I see something before us. But it sounds very good, and I'd certainly be open to something like that.
Okay. Mr. Yarborough, how would you rate the level of service the city receives from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department for police services?
Well, if I was given them on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give them somewhere probably between an 8 and a 9. I don't think there's a perfect number unless you're on Dancing with the Stars, but that occasionally happens. But we get excellent service, and that was one of the hard decisions that we had to make that I know that Councilman Landers made as he came on board the city, and I came on shortly thereafter, is that we had to actually get rid of our 85-year-old police department. Very, very difficult choice to dismantle that police department, but the sheriffs came on board, and initially it did 2 things for us. It saved us $1.5 million a year, and the other thing it did is it eliminated political issues that we probably couldn't solve, and going with the sheriffs just simply did that. Plus they ended up, not only have they done everything they said, they've done more, so we're very, very satisfied with the sheriff. They get an excellent report.
Good. Mr. Landers?
I'm very happy with that as well. Like Mark was saying, many years ago we had to dismantle our police department. But, if we had we'd probably be sitting on county ground today. So there's hard decisions that we had to make back then that we have to make still. We laid off staff and everything else to continue being a city. But our police department now, I think, is very, very proactive. Our chief is great. Our captains, our lieutenants, they're all great. And I feel very safe with them.
Okay. Mr. Yarborough? The Metrolink will come to Perris in 2012. How will this change the city?
It's interesting to see that the city was literally born through the railroad, and then to have it come back to Perris. You know, it's the thought that you'd be able to take it into Orange County and Los Angeles, take it all the way around down to San Diego and go to the beach will be great. A lot of people will be coming to Perris because of that time that you save. It's just, you know, public transportation was, and those of you that saw the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when they're talking about the whole plot about getting rid of the public transportation for the giant freeways, and it's so ironic, you know, that the most industrialized nation in the world, we created public transportation and then we got rid of it, and now we're trying to bring it back. So I'm glad to see it. I've traveled by train many times. My wife was a Amtrak reservation agent, and as it develops, as the high-speed rail comes, and we're able to link people to their destinations, I think it's it's important for the environment, it's important for the quality of life. Those of you that hopefully you won't ever have to sit on the freeway for an hour or two, you'll really appreciate that. So public transportation, we're definitely going in the right direction. I'm glad it's coming to Perris.
Good. How do you feel, Mr. Landers?
I feel the same way. I just think anything like this that we're doing right now is good for, if we can save parents 2 or 3 hours, or 4 hours, 5 hours a week off out of their car and to be at home with their families. I think that's what we really need to look into. There's many right now latchkey kids that are home by themselves. Excuse me. And I think that's one of the problems right now is if we can have our families, our parents together, their kids in the evening more, I think that's very important for the future of America.
Very good. The city of Perris is considering 3 significant annexations. How could this change the city, and do you support it, Mr. Yarborough?
I do support the annexation. That's one of the things that got my attention politically, is that you receive this junk mail and stuff that you really don't understand and doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm talking to my next door neighbor the next day after a city council meeting, and he said, and I was looking at the newspaper, said, so we're the part of the city of Perris? I said, I can't, how did this happen? He says, well, if you'd been at the city council with me yet last night, there would have been 2 of us. And it's about decisions that are made that it's not that it's being kept from anyone, but we don't keep ourselves in the loop. The annexation is growth. Ideally, you would want cities to expand so that they can provide services, police, fire being the most important, and other services, recreation and senior services to to the constituents. So we've never done an annexation really without, and I've told people, if you want to join the city of Perris, get a group of people together, get some names, get some signatures, and bring it to us. Many cities will step out and they'll take areas, and I have mixed emotions about that quite often. But if it's a friendly annexation, I think it ends up being a win-win for both the city and for the community that we're trying to join and welcome into that. Because Perris has always been a kind of a rural, and as we're moving towards a suburban, I think that we continue to respect that lifestyle. So it's a good transition.
Good. Mr. Landers, what's your opinion?
I don't like eminent domain. I do like annexation. And right now, much of the property, the other side of the freeway at Perris, is unincorporated area. Many, many businesses in there that could use our help, and we could use theirs as a tax revenue from their businesses. We're looking at that right now, probably going to annex them. I know it has to go before the people, and I believe whatever the people say has to rule. And if they want to be part of our city, we'd welcome them in. They would get better services, police, fire, the whole thing. They would get better on all those services. So I'm really for that. Like I say, we have a lot of business the other side of the freeway that could use our help, and we could use theirs. And that becomes a partnership then.
All right, thank you. Mr. Yarborough, does the city of Perris have good government practices, including adherence to the Brown Act?
Absolutely. You know, we are required to take training, ethics training, that reiterates those policies for the Brown Act. In the past, you've heard stories about these secret meetings that take place, and smoke-filled rooms underground, and people cutting deals and things like that. And it wouldn't surprise if it still exists in some places. But with us, Transparency, I mean, it's just the norm. We try and notice as often as possible, and not only what is the legal requirement, but we like to take it beyond that, because we just think it's very important that people know. As I shared my experience when my property, when my street was annexed into the city, and it came overnight with, it was seamless. I didn't even realize that it happened. And I think it's very, very important. The city of Perris has been recognized for some administrative excellence over and over. We've been recognized by a League of California Cities for some innovation. So I think we've done a good job in that capacity.
Good. Mr. Landers, what do you think?
I too believe we've done a good job. I think that, we've been, like the thing in Bell, and students, that should never, ever happen. The thing in Bell should never, ever happen in your city. Pay attention. The people, because we are transparent, we are in a fishbowl, but we got to live our lives like that too, that we're not afraid to open our lives up and let the people see what we're about. But as far as, just like what I was mentioning about Bell, all the high salaries and perks that they were getting over there, that should never happen. You, the people, could stop that. And that's what happened. I think somebody just caught them with their hand in the cookie jar. But it's your responsibility. It's a public's responsibility to keep us honest and make sure we do our job diligently.
Very good point. Also, I think one thing I'd add to the Bell situation, it was a couple of press reporters that exposed it and woke the city up. Well, we've come to the end of our question and answer list. Now we give you gentlemen 1 minute to conclude your comments, make your one last pitch for votes. And Mr. Landers will give you a second to catch your breath and maybe take a drink of water, and you'll be the first one.
You brought me water. I thought we were going to be another hour or so.
Well, yeah.
Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I've been very, very involved in our community and actually state. I've done a lot even statewide. And we've got to be very, very careful in these economic times to make sure we do the right thing with the people. And I want you need to keep us all honest. But we do need somebody right now with the economic times. We need somebody that is on top of everything. We need somebody that is experienced. I can't see somebody coming in office cold today and dealing with millions and millions of dollars of your dollars. So if you see to vote for me in November, I'd appreciate it, and I just do all I can do to make Perris a better place and make Perris all it can be. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Yarborough.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank first the Press Enterprise for hosting this forum. This is new, and it's important because many of you, this is how you conduct your lives on a computer. And it's a very, I think it's going to be a very powerful tool. And I think the thing that's very important for us is exploring any opportunity for outreach, to get the word out, to find out what people are thinking, what they want, what they see, because ultimately it's our jobs as policymakers to make that happen. So this is just another tool and an opportunity to do that. I've served on the council, and I would like to continue serving at the discretion of the voters of the city of Perris. I would ask for your vote because I think that this is a very difficult time. I think we need stability more than any time in our city's history right now to maintain what we have, to maintain the forward momentum, and to get us through these economic times. I shared with some people before that Perris is the last one into this recession, but I believe we're going to be the first ones out because we've got a lot of things coming. And those of you that live in the community, I invite you to come out to a lot of our events and get involved, because that's what makes a difference. And whatever capacity is, get involved, and that makes a difference. That's made a difference in my life. And again, I would be honored to continue to do that for you. So vote for Raul Mark Yarborough, November 2nd. Thank you.
Thank both of you for showing up. And now a closing word from our sponsor.
I'd like to thank Bob Melsch for being our moderator. I'd like to to thank our two candidates for participating as well, our audience here in the auditorium and our audience, of course, live on PE.com. Again, this and all of our other forums are available on demand on the election road trip area of the politics area of the site. Would also like to remind everybody to go out and vote on November 2nd. Very important that we fulfill those civic duties. And then later in the day, you can check in on PE.com. We will be doing a live election recap show. And as usually the case in Riverside County, those results trickle in ever so slowly. So we also will have a full recap show on the morning of November 3rd again. I'd like to thank our staff, Angel Ortiz and Louis Amistoy. I'm Nels Jensen. Thank you very much. Yeah.